Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel with Giovanni Alexander. I'm a student at IPMI Business School. Today, I'm going to share my summary from week 1 until week 7 and study case of Starbucks. You can check my mind map on the description below. Okay, let's get right into it. International business, learn about how open business internationally. Like Starbucks is one of the biggest coffee shop in US. They bring by Mitra Adi Perkasa to come to Indonesia and they build some Starbucks in Jakarta and also Bali. And Bali have the Starbucks Reserve, one of the biggest Starbucks in the Asia. Why Starbucks can going so global and so big in the global market? We can see from the why. Start with why, like Simon Sinek. First, because we live in the international connection, we need keep up with culture literacy, keep up with others country developing, and we can exchange the product and money. From the product, there is an absolute advantage because there is a country they good in one product and country B they good in another product, or comparative advantage. Either country A have the good in A and best in B, but they can exchange from their product because the efficiency on effectiveness, and the money they can investment or financing from the other country. So what is the international business? We can see from the criteria, they buying or sell the product, operating overseas, or borrowing the money. In the type, there is an international, multinational, and global company. And how international business going global, there is some types like they do the exporting, importing, by the licensing, strategic alliance, direct investment, or joint venture. And some key player in the international business, large company, firm from emerging market, SME, MNC, and born from global. And because the globalization market is open, and like Starbucks they can open in Indonesia because it is the free trade era. But when we come to another country, we have some risk. The first is cross-cultural risk, commercial risk, currency risk, and country or political risk. The cross-culture risk, there is a language, maybe the culture, negotiation pattern, maybe it's different with decision-making style or the ethical. The commercial risk may be the weak partner, the operation problem, the timing of the entry is the wrong, competitive intensity, or the poor execution of the strategy. And the financial risk, we can see from the goods or the service, the risk perception, or the securities. From the country or political risk, we can see from the political system, maybe the country like North Korea, they have totalitarianism, and China, they have the socialism. Australia, they have democracy, and the legal system, we have the civil law, religious law, or mixed law. To protect the country, the president or the minister conduct government intervention like protectionism, custom, tariff, non-tariff trade barriers, quota, investment barriers, or subsidize. About the international trade and investment, there is two reasons why they conduct the trade and investment. From the national, we can start with why. There is some theory like mercantilism, absolute advantage principle, comparative advantage principle, factor proportion theory, international product life cycle, and new trade theory. And from the firm level, there is two reasons is because they want going the international or they born global like the startup currently. And how the firm going or conduct the international trade, they can get the FDI or non-FDI. From the FDI, and there is some theory like monopolistic advantage theory, internationalization theory, and Dunning electric paradigm. There are three conditions: ownership advantage, like knowledge, skill, physical, or brand. If no, just still in the domestic market. Location advantage is the firm has specific advantage that exists in the host market, like natural resources, low cost, or skilled labor. If not, just export the product. And the last, international advantage, is the firm has specific advantage over foreign operation such as distribution or other value chain. If no, give the license. If yes, you must use the foreign direct investment. For the non-FDI, we can also international collaborative ventures or networks and relational asset to build our awareness in the global market. The next part, we learn about ethics, CSR, sustainability, and FDI. The first part, we learn about SDG, Sustainable Development Goal. It's learned about in the past, people only think about profit without thinking the long-term impact about our environment and earth. And currently, because our resources are limited, make the past theory monopoly is not useful in the current era. So, some businessmen, they implement environment, social, and governance. And some businessmen also implement the green economics. It means we use the renewable energy. Like the Starbucks, they build the tumbler, they use the paper straw and cup without straw. And another company, they try to implement blue economics, like they improve our marine and ocean. And like the Starbucks, they also implement blue economics. It's like the circular economics. Like Starbucks, the coffee from Starbucks, they can use from cow food or the compost for the plant. And the cow food, they can create the milk, and the milk, they transfer it again to the Starbucks coffee as the espresso or milk-based drink. And the vegetable, they use for the plant-based food, and they can sell it in the Starbucks coffee. And the next, we learn about the investment. The investment, there is a two type, SWF, Sovereign Wealth Fund. Sovereign Wealth Fund is the state-owned investment fund for infrastructure or technological. There is some type, there is a stabilization fund, future generation fund, reserve investment fund, and pension reserve fund. And in Indonesia, we have the also SWF. They managed by NIA, Nusantara Investment Authority. But there is a possible problem from SWF. First, good governance, strategic investment, unclear regulatory, and the last may be the high cost of the capital. But we can use also the FDI and the next, the global firm. The global firm we can see from 5 aspects: visionary leadership, strategy, organization structure, organizational process, and organizational culture. From the strategy, there is a 2 type, how they entry and the operating. The entry, they can use the importing or the global sourcing, exporting, counter trade, and foreign direct investment or FDI. For the operating, they can use 4 strategy, transactional strategy, multi-domestic strategy, global strategy, and home replication strategy. And the last, we learn about the corporate governance. It's learn about the ethics, CSR, and sustainability. And the ethics, we learn about it is the right or the wrong. And some of the bad ethics is the bribery and the corruption. And how do we identify this is the ethical decision or not? We can see from the problem and examine the fact and create the alternative, implement course of action, and the last, evaluate the result. That's all. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.